Good morning. I'm Kara Thorpe, founder and visionary for Yellow Parachute Learning Partners, where great minds don't think alike. And this morning, I'm going to take you on a journey of part two for our Wheel of Life project. So, we talked about the Wheel of Life as a tool that parents can use and see the value, pass on to their children and their family and their friends. And I promise to make the most of the 15 minutes we have together today. I'm so excited that you're joining me, whether you're joining live at 9 this morning or later on in the day. I will just warn you, I've got a couple of coworkers and kids running around here. I'm devoting my time and attention to you, but you know what? It may be organic, and yep, we may hear from them as time goes on. So we'll just have to enjoy as we're keeping it real. So I am going to share my presentation with you, or share the screen. And oh, let me just try again. There it is. Here we go. So, as I said, this is part two of our micro webinar series. The first one was using the Wheel of Life to set your 2021 vision. We have the same title today. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the vision setting, but then we'll get into how to use that vision to plan your week and your daily activities to gain traction and ultimately satisfaction in your life. Quickly going through the trouble spots that we're addressing, talking about how the Wheel of Life helps, how to use it, how to set the vision, and then today we're going to talk about what's next. We're going to help tackle lagging motivation and interest, getting lost in the details because we don't have organization, the distractions that technology can create, and the frustration and overwhelm at the end of the day when we feel like we haven't accomplished anything. We're going to strengthen morning and evening routines, and we're going to take away the feeling of too many to-dos. So we talked about the Wheel of Life. If you're coming today with your Wheel of Life complete, or after having done it with your students and your children, awesome, so exciting. And if you still have it to do, you know what? That is okay too, because today you're going to see part two, and then you can see how this small step can create a huge impact, just like that ripple effect, that droplet of water in your life. Okay, so we left off 2 weeks ago with taking the five most important categories from the Wheel of Life, so the ones that represent the roles you play, and recording the vision of what would be a 10 in that category. So on the next slide, you're going to see an example of what that might look like. I pictured myself as a sophomore student in high school when I was doing this activity. So look at me now as Kara, the sophomore in high school. Went to school in Bridgewater, New Jersey. I see my dear friend Monica on the call. She also did the same, went to school in Bridgewater. So shout out to BRHS. And here we go. So we're gonna write it down. So you can see what I did with this slide is I showed what a Wheel of Life would look like for me as a sophomore. My categories that I've rated are sports, friends, family, personal growth, fun and leisure, home environment, school, and health. I put myself in the position of a time in COVID, how I would maybe feel about each of these things, and then did the rating, how I felt presently about my satisfaction compared to what would be a 10. And you can see, if you pictured that wheel rolling, it would move, but it would be, a bumpy ride. And there would be parts where it was really hard to get the wheel up and over and moving, and then it would kind of come down on the other side. So we're looking for balance, but balance looks lots of different ways. So on that note of personalizing the categories for myself, I've written them down so you can see the friends, family, personal growth on the lined paper in the picture on the right side of the screen. And then I've transferred those categories into the main roles that I would be playing in my life. So I have my student, that goes with school. I've got my personal, which is going to probably cover my personal growth and maybe my fun and leisure and probably my health as well, those categories. I have my role as a teen. I probably in my sophomore life wouldn't have called myself a child, but I would always be my parents' kid. So I put down as a teenager, I am responsible still to my parents. So that teen role would be would cover the kind of the categories of family, maybe home environment would fit into that category, but really like my home life and my family. Friends are important, so that is a role as a friend is separate from the others. And then as an athlete and teammate, because soccer is an important part of my life. So when you, as an adult or as a kid, look at your roles, you're going to look at the categories and find where you spend the most time, what's the most important, and you're going to choose your roles from there. I hope you can see how the categories then transfer into a role. And then what would be a 10 as a student? What am I doing each day to have complete satisfaction? What does my, what is complete satisfaction in the role as a teen interacting with my parents and my sibling? Complete satisfaction as an athlete and a teammate, my personal health, my personal wellness, kind of how I feel when no one else is looking behind closed doors, if you will. And then in my role as a friend. So this role of a 10 becomes how I feel about how I'm showing up and the activities that I'm doing that provide fulfillment for me, and then ultimately for the other people with whom I'm interacting in that role. For the sake of this exercise, I've taken the athlete teammate role and I've developed it out to show you what that would look like as you continue. So after you have your categories fit into 5 roles and you have your idea of what it would look like to be my best self in each category, you're going to take those roles and those best self visions, and you're going to create specific vision statements. So those vision statements are going to be, in 2021, I am a student who, a teen who, a person, this is the personal who, a friend, and a teammate. So again, as my sophomore high school person, I am thinking about who I want to be in 2021 based on what I think my best version of myself right now is. And I'm going to be as specific as possible. I suggest that you can use the concept of SMART to help you. The acronym SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And so if I'm a teammate who, I want to create a vision that I can track of myself as a teammate. So I am a teammate who shows up on time to every practice. I am a teammate who models sportsmanship at every opportunity. I am a teammate who checks in with my other teammates and gives them specific compliments at least 3 times a week. Something that I can measure on how I am performing, how I'm practicing showing up as my best self. So adults, you may find yourselves in parenting roles, in professional roles, in leadership roles. Definitely you want to have a personal role, and you might also find your role as a spouse, friends. I think I'm going to move on. Let's see. So taking my sophomore year self, I've talked about who I want to be as a teammate on my soccer team, as a soccer player, and I've defined a specific idea of who I want to be. I've done that for each of my roles, and this is going to help me say goodbye to lagging motivation and interest. Say goodbye to frustration and overwhelm, because I have chosen how I want to show up in each area of my life, and I'm tracking my progress as I practice that day after day. What a beautiful opportunity, and what a freeing opportunity to get the chance to practice being your best self and measure that and track that. It's awesome. I can tell you that I've been using this system for just over a month, and I see changes in my life. I still get frustrated. I still might tend to get overwhelmed, but at the same time, I can always come back to my vision and say, this is who I'm choosing to be. How do I get there? So your vision becomes the guidance for your weekly and daily planning activities. You're going to plan now the details so that you can have organization in your life. You're going to be able to embrace technology because you're scheduling it and you're avoiding those distractions. You're going to be able to schedule morning and evening routines that help you be successful toward your vision of your best self. And you're going to be able to tackle your to-dos without overwhelm, because each to-do that you make is tied to the vision of who you want to be. So we are narrowing down the focus of your daily life plan, and we're making it very specific and measurable based on who you've chosen to be. I can't think of anything more satisfying, truly. So the vision statements, as I said, become the reference for the weekly goals and activities. I always suggest a weekly planning time. I choose Sundays. Sometimes I don't always do it Sunday. Sometimes it ends up being Monday morning. But having a regular planning time where you sit down and you plan your week just gives you a preview of what you're going to be doing. And it sets your mind at ease. It relieves the tension and anxiety going into the week of not knowing exactly what you're going to be doing. In the line paper, I've taken a snippet of a page that shows I've got my vision statements to refer to, and I have my weekly on the very bottom. I have my week laid out: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've shown how, as that sophomore student, I've put in my different roles, who I want to be as a student teen in my personal life, personal to me, as a friend and as a teammate. And I can use that vision and those activities that I want to do. For example, the goal of checking in with 3 teammates a week, I can schedule in those activities during my week before the week even starts. So do you see how you're taking your vision? You're taking activities that lead to you actually becoming that best self, practicing showing up in that way, and then you're planning them out at a specific time during the week so you know they're going to happen. This is getting all these ideas out of your head and onto paper, and when you share it with someone else, it's even more apt to happen. So this is a sketch. I have a snippet on this page too. So this is how I could use the vision of my soccer teammate. And I you guys are my pictures in the way of my words. Okay, so my vision of a teammate as my sophomore self. I am a teammate who arrives on time for every practice and game. I stick to my core values of sportsmanship and team play, and I model those actions to my teammates. I would maybe even want to add something measurable there that I could, at the end of the week, reflect on that. I check in with at least 3 teammates each week to encourage and compliment them. I am seen as a leader and candidate for team captain next year. So that's my ultimate. I want to be, in the future, I want to be the team captain my junior year on my soccer team. And so I'm setting myself up for success as my authentic self every day. Here's an example of a planning calendar. If you need more help with planning, you absolutely reach out, and we can share many more tips on planning in micro webinars to come. But you are going to be able to put in your weekly activities. I'm just going to check the chat box. Oh, thank you, Monica. I'm so glad it's helpful. And I just restarted my presentation. That's good, but it's helpful, so Okay, there we go. So you're going to put in your scheduled activities, and here's where, as a teammate, I can schedule those 3 check-ins in real time during my week. So I may not have the person in mind who I'm going to check in with, but if I schedule that time, I'm much more likely to make time for it later because I've scheduled it. And I'm actually, whether I realize it or not, once I put it on paper, I'm planning that it's going to happen. I see it as happening. And that's a huge way for me to gain traction in what I really want to do and who I really want to be. And that's really it. It's a simple day. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort, but it is going to be probably the most rewarding thing that you can do for yourself, and you can do for you can share with the students and family members in your life who desire change, is to help share the Wheel of Life tool with them, and then take the tool into your daily and weekly planning activities. I'm just going to check one more time, monitor my chat. Okay, got it. And so I'm going to back up one more time to show you how, when you plan weekly, you're going to have in mind who you want to be in each role of your life. That's going to set the activities for the week that you're going to do so that you can plan your vision. And you're going to be able to plug in those activities among your other scheduled activities to make sure that you are making traction for who you want to be. I so look forward to seeing how you use this tool in your life, how it changes your life, and how it changes the lives of those in your sphere of influence. And I invite you to join us for our next webinar series in 2 weeks. And I'd love you to share some takeaways in the comments to this video after you're done watching. Have a good day.